please remember to leave a like, a comment, share the video about, and if you haven't already, subscribe. Thank you. Well, isn't this just fantastic? Something I am quite fond of when it comes to Twitter is that people are willing to share all the nuttiness from TikTok. You know, the rejects who don't have the balls to upload this same content to YouTube because they know it will happen, but will upload it to TikTok, get noticed by those on Twitter who then post it to Twitter so we can have a good old-fashioned laugh at it. There are some notable names. It can be argued Dylan Mulvaney is probably the biggest star of the lot. Somebody who trivialized and tokenized what it meant to be a woman. But there are others who act in a way that can be considered tokenizing of aspect of womanhood. This in turn leads to a vast divide, a line in the sand, where people refuse to budge. The subject of gender and pronouns has been going on for some time. If you are critical of it, or you are critical of an aspect of it, you are accused of being transphobic, right? I find this to be a bit disrespectful and disingenuous. Because no matter what your belief system is or who you are or what you are, you should be up for criticism. Of course, you are well within your right to not be, but that shouldn't mean everyone else should not be allowed to. So what I thought I'd do today is respond to a video from Jeffrey Marsh that was shared to Twitter by LGB, where they tweeted, if someone says that you should use someone's pronouns of choice, just send them this laughing crying emoji. Quote, Xenopronouns. Pronunciation that a human being cannot pronounce. End quotes. Not just a simple no, but an F all of that type of no. You have my attention because I have no idea what xenopronouns are. Xeno makes me think of alien species, as opposed to xenophobia used to describe those who migrate from one country to another, and that being in and of itself haram. Sorry, haram! But in the context of this, I'm starting to think someone's pulling out different languages perhaps. Maybe Elvish, yeah? Or the language of chaos from the Liber Chaotica. Well, as Jeffrey Marsh has our attention, we should be able to now play bits of this video and critique where critique is necessary without rolling our eyes too much, because apparently there is an age gap involved in this, in the sense of a generational divide where we, the older people, aren't quite able to work out whether any of this is supposed to make any sense.
Xenopronouns. Perhaps one of the most beautiful concepts.
Are you sure? I know you say one of, but have you ever had toast with honey on it? It's like arguably the greatest concept known to man. A close second being butt stuff.
One of the most poetic ways to approach this subject. Xenopronouns refers to any pronoun a person has that is unspeakable.
How is that poetic? And by the way, if a pronoun is unspeakable, it is not a pronoun then, is it? This is another one of those attention-seeking ploys, solely to make it seem like you're more unique, because your pronoun is maybe another person's pronoun is right? Do you know what I mean? Just making up random sounds. Oh, but that's what language is, really? Oh, fantastic. I can hardly wait for you to explain the controversiality of this all. Additionally, there is nothing remotely beautiful about it. It is another convoluted way for one's individuality to be recognized as something totally unique, as if your DNA wasn't unique enough. You're the only person with that body, the only person with that name, that social security number, right? That credit card. By all means, send all your details to me. I'm a Nigerian prince. Do you get my point? You're not unique, you're not individual. Stop trying to pretend you are anything but.
That is unworkable in the language of a person.
What Jeffrey Marsh means to say is English, okay? Because there are, on this planet, recognized, as of 2023, over 7,000 languages in the world. Over 7,000. And you are telling me, within all 7,000, there is not a pronoun that can describe an individual who is so unique, they fall outside of the 7,000 languages on this planet. I'm going to go ahead and include all the languages that are defunct, including letters and alphabet that are defunct, and that would include the letter Zog. Because apparently you are so unique, so individual, so special, so precious. You cannot be spoken with your pronouns, which would surely undermine the entire point of pronouns in the first place, because many people want you to acknowledge their pronoun, but if they can't speak it, how do they address you? If your pronoun is so important, surely this would wipe the slate clean and mean that no one actually has the ability to call you by your pronoun. I guess your name would be the only option, or a pointing finger. Little finger if you're doing international drinking rules.
So an example would be a xenopronoun would be a word. I can't even say it, right? Because that's the point.
Well, if you can't say it, could you draw it, perhaps? Maybe pick out an instrument. Let me help you here. How about I grab my guitar? E, F, G, A, B, C, D, E, F, G. Do I need to keep going here? Because I can do this all day if you like. Maybe on a bass we'll do it instead. We can slap the bass, because that's the correct way to play the bass. The point still stands. It is such a narcissistic personality trait to be so unique you cannot pronounce who you are. Does that mean the person who has chosen the pronoun can say it? Is it so secret and intimate that it is within an inner circle? When your thetan level is high enough and you donated enough money, you may be given symbols like hieroglyphs. Do you see why I'm mocking this? Because on the face of it, it is dumb for a whole plethora of reasons, and I haven't even scratched the surface of why.
They're unsayable and sort of effervescent and unknowable, kind of like a person's gender. That's why I love this one.
I've only ever heard the word effervesce in Friends, and I thought it meant a liquid giving off bubbles or something that was in and of itself fizzy. But apparently, effervescent can also be used as a form of describing vivacious and enthusiasm. Yay! How can you be enthusiastic for the unknown when the unknown is intentionally chosen to be unknown? Which means it will never be known, which makes sod all sense. It's almost like a way of introducing a barrier that science cannot penetrate, yet science has already penetrated it and decided, no fam, you're just a narcissist. And I don't mean like the cool kind of narcissist, like Lex Luger. No, not some B-Tech roid-riddle bus-riding Hulkamaniac rip-off. No, instead the kind that couldn't rip off their t-shirt because it would be far too hard for them to pull the buttons.
So an example would be, a xenopronoun would contain a set of letters that is a pronunciation that a human being can't pronounce.
You do realise on the face of it that there is a language that exists on this world that already encompasses that quite handily. It's called Welsh. Their alphabet consists of like 3 Ds and 2 Ls, with the occasional Y in it. Some people like to get smart here and say, but I can pronounce it if I use a Welsh accent. Even the Welsh don't pronounce it. There you go. You have your uniqueness. You can go bum sheep now. It's a free pass. Open season to tenderize the mutton. Also, surely, because you've already said unpronounceable, using letters to still prove that it is a real thing but unpronounceable regardless is redundant, because it's already unpronounceable. Why give it physical form? Surely by giving it physical form you are then creating a gender, right? Not agenda, the word agenda. No, space, gender. Or perhaps agenda, a message hidden, coded in your super secret, super serial, whatever this is. I actually don't know anymore. I'm losing the will here, folks.
It's some sound that a human being can't pronounce. Or that a xenopronoun contains an image or a concept that it's alluding to that is actually something that language has no way to express.
Oh god, we're going down the interpretive dance path, aren't we? Isn't there a species in Star Trek Voyager that does the whole hand gestures and movements when they speak in a weird third-person-ish language style? Yeah, I'm getting that right now. Do people have to paint collages now, just so they can articulate, this is my identity, my gender pronouns are somewhere on this canvas? Good luck trying to pronounce it. Do we now have to carry cards around? Maybe a barcode scanner or an ID card? Your pronoun is your number. A raffle ticket, perhaps? Oh no. The reductio ad absurdum applied to this is because, on the face of it, it makes negative sense.
The movement of understanding where non-binary people come from can sometimes take us into very lofty, beautiful, spiritual, poetic places.
Please do me a favour and don't lump those that are, let's call them more casually non-binary, with the rest of you nutters. Utter nutters. Bonkers, in fact, right? The plebeian non-binary that get on with their lives. And then there's you, who are speaking of and championing the more elusive aspects of non-binary-ness, right? Please don't. I get the need to want to stand out and be different, and the need and the want to stand out and be offended when someone gets it wrong, because somebody wants to be an authority on something, and to be who you are is to be so unique, so individual, that while you all look and act exactly the same, the nutters on TikTok that is, right? Yes, you want to appeal to authority, be the champion of you. No one else, because you can't speak for anyone else. Mostly because you can't pronounce their pronouns, which is very disrespectful, by the way.
Thank you for your willingness to understand. And thank you for your willingness to honor us.
How can someone understand something if it cannot be understood by anyone, including the person who uses these pronouns, these xenopronouns? Right. How can anyone respect it or honor it, again, if they do not have it from a place of understanding? To understand is a key and fundamental part of respect. If you don't understand, you cannot respect. So why make it so complicated someone cannot? And then think that by simply them saying they respect when they can't respect because they don't understand that they are somehow respecting you. When you shift the goalpost so much, that respect is lost because it cannot be obtained with goalposts so far apart or so close together, depending on your interpretation of the analogy, that no one is able to comprehend.